Hi, I'm Streaky, this is Metropolis Mastering. Today I'm reviewing the MASELEC EQ. So most of you will know of the MASELEC EQ. It's a really well-known piece of kit in mastering world and mixing world as well. I've got a bit of history on it before we get going, so settle in. These were built around the early 90s, and that was exactly the same time as Metropolis was being built. Now, Ian Cooper, who was one of the guys that set Metropolis up, he lives across the road from Leif Masses. Now, Leif Masses, MASELEC, kind of gives the game away. Leif builds the equipment, designs it. They're all his, bits and pieces. He's a Swedish guy, top man, really interesting to talk to if you get the opportunity to. I've been fortunate enough to know him since I started mastering, and every time I've met him, I've just listen a lot. Don't say too much. He's really technical, but it's just those little tidbits of information that I like to get out of him if I speak to him. Just because he knows everybody. He goes around to all the different studios. He chats to everybody, all the mastering engineers. So they're all sharing their tips and tricks with him, trying to show off to him, I guess. So it's nice to just listen and see what they're saying, see what he's saying. He knows what's happening. But anyway, back to the MASELEC EQ. So Ian Cooper, who used to work here, he started Metropolis, lives across the road from Leif. Leif was, he wanted to get an EQ built for Metropolis. So every room's got Sontec EQs in, which are here, which are amazing. But they're quite faulty. They go wrong quite a bit. They make a lot of noise. They weren't, when they were made, I mean, they're great, don't get me wrong. They sound brilliant, but they're not as solid as a rock as you want. So Ian Cooper was saying he'd love to have something similar to that. A similar vibe, but something that was a little bit more sturdy, something that they could get their hands on, get a few of them, because a couple of the rooms here are surround rooms. When it comes to MASELEC EQ, I mean, I've got them coming out my ears, and that's not just showing off. There's one here, one here, one here, one over there, and that's just in this room, and there's another 6-7 rooms with similar amounts of MASELEC EQ. So Leif went away, to cut a long story short, boring story short. Leif went away, looked at the Sontec, went, okay, fine, I see what you're doing. Came back to Ian Cooper with a prototype and said, what do you reckon? And the prototype was one of these. So what he did was, which is really cool, because on the Sontec, you've got a high and low shelf, or just on sort of one band. And then the rest of it is bell curves for the parametric, for the cues. So what Leif did, which is on here, is there's a shelf on every single channel, which is really handy, because obviously you're stuck to a certain amount of frequencies on the high and low shelves on the Sontec, but with this you can experiment and do so many different things with it, because you can pick all the different so many different frequencies and put shelves across them. Also, some of the frequencies that he's chosen are excellent as well. So because he really knows Leif was part of the Swedish ABBA gang, Polar Studios, and so he really knows his stuff. He really knows he's a brilliant engineer anyway. I think he worked on Led Zeppelin stuff and things like that a long time ago. So he really, as an engineer, really knows what he wants out of an EQ. So to put all that knowledge, to put Ian Cooper's mastering knowledge in, and then to sort of look at other equipment that's out there and go, okay, this is going to be, I need to make something that's really usable, really solid. He's built this, which is just such a brilliant bit of kit. If you're ever buying your first EQ, analog EQ, this is exactly what you should buy, because the build quality is unbelievable. It never goes wrong. I've never had one go wrong, ever. They're amazing. They don't make any noise. They're so quiet, ultra quiet, but the sound of them is fantastic. The high end, it's got a lovely high end. 12K is really nice on it. A 12K shelf, nice. 27K, like just to put some air in. It's super smooth. It's not harsh. It's nice and creamy. It makes everything sound really posh. So if you're looking for kind of like a really good all-round EQ, this is the Boy to go for, because you can also put it on, if you've got one of Leif's desks, or if you've got a mid-side or a summon difference box, you can slip this into MS mode as well. So you can make that, because it's separate, you can make that the mids and that one the sides, which I do on one of mine in there. So it's just great for like pulling frequencies out. The cuts on it are really nice. It's got a really tight cue on it, so you can really drill into stuff. I always liked the GML EQ, and I used to use that all the time. But ever since really diving into this, there's no way I'd go back to it. This is such a better piece of kit than the GML in my eyes. The GML's got it's good. It's really good. It's really clinical. It's really sharp sounding EQ. But you can get that from this, and you can get super smooth from this. The low end, 60 hertz. Whoa, 30, 31, 37 hertz, just for really sinking in some heavy low end. You need some decent speakers to be able to do that properly, to really sort of get in there and be able to hear what you're doing. I listen far too loud. I like to listen to it super loud and just, crank in some really low subs just to give some really fat bottom end. And this will do that in spades. It's amazing. You never have to put too much on. I hardly ever go over 3 dB. 3 dB is really over the top. I'm kind of putting 1 and halves on, really. Maybe 2, maybe, yeah. Not a lot. And the mids are great. I mean, everything about it's good. Just get one. They're about 3K, I think, in pounds. So I don't know what that is wherever you are. But you cannot go wrong. There's been a few different versions over the years. There was one that came out with quite recently that I had that had metal pots on it, knobs, whatever you want to call them. And that kind of, to me, sounded like a halfway house between this and the GML, because I knew the GML so well, and I spoke to Leif about it, and he said that he had to change some of the interior to make the pots work properly, because there's something or other. I don't know. I can't go technical like Leif could, but it was good. It was interesting. But then a few people, I think, moaned that it was a different sound to what they knew, and I liked it. I really liked it. But the problem was it was my personal one, and I had another, 6 to play with. So I just would rather have $3 in my pocket, to be totally honest. So I bought some other stuff, but it was nice. I don't know. I think he's stopped doing them now, because I've noticed that they've gone back to these pots, but I don't, maybe it was, not selling as well, but this is the unit you should have. You should have one anyway in your room. It's a great tool to go to. You can't really go wrong. I can't fault it. If you've got any, I'd be really interested if anyone's got them, and if they've got a special way that they use them. I'd really love to know that in the comments. I mean, when I make all these videos, I'm just kind of giving you a splattering of how I use stuff. If you want any more detailed information, just ask me in the comments or email me, and I'm more than happy to dive into it. I'm just, if you've got anything, if there's any tips you have for using it, please let me know, because other people will be reading the comments, and then it's great. We can all share together. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, cheers. Bye.